Yes, greeting. I am here. Hello, folksicles. 9 o'clock Sunday night UK time. It is time for the Sunday Nighter, your weekly terrain Q&A show. I have switched my mic on, haven't I? Yeah, that's all right. How are you, folks? You know the drill. Say hello. Let me know who's here. It says we've got about 60 or so watching. I don't know why. What are you lot chatting about? Whoop whoop. Hey up, Ant. I see Pagan. Insane. Dave. Tam. Come on, let's keep it coming. Dan. Max. Jason. Quiet tonight, aren't we? Just having a brew. Ant. Alan. Mark. Baptiste. Paul. Pers. Joanne. Dirk. Quite a few tonight, actually. Oh. And Chillax. I'm ready for my minute's mod work. Dan Random, I'm mod for a minute. Hey, Crawley. AAG, hello. I got a reason why. Now, this is a terrain question and answer show. If you look down below in the description, you will find a link to the Google Doc. If you've got any terrain questions, go to the Google Doc. You don't need to be logged in or anything like that. Just leave a screen name and your question, and we'll deal with those in about 15 minutes. In the meantime, we'll just have a bit of a banter. Yeah. Now, Mal has been very busy this week. I've been working on High Peak Pass. I've been working on my Burma build. I've been working on some rubble and that sort of stuff. But I've also been, working on my 100,000 subscriber. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, my 100,000 subscriber, giveaway. Yeah. And I've got quite... how much am I up to? Let me have a nose. Let me pull up a document. See, Mal's organised on this. Okay. 100, 200, 250, 350, 400, 450, 500. Not sure how much they're going to give just yet, but that'll be at least 50. So what, 550, 550, 590, 1090. Yeah. So out of the replies so far, and about half of them have replied, the prize pool is currently sitting, assuming that everything gets ticked off and everything, yeah, the prize pool is just sitting just over £1,000 at the minute. That's not bad, is it? I was thinking about this. The way I've been organising this prize pool, and just to bring you up to speed, okay, I'm not far off hitting 100,000 subscribers, which is just... it's crazy. Come on. Still haven't got my head around that. Yeah, but I decided I was going to do a giveaway. So I've reached out to all the companies that I've really worked with over the past sort of 4 or 5 years. Yeah, and loads of them are coming back and saying, yeah, Mal, we'll throw something in the prize pot. But the thing is, yeah, what we have is we have this sort of thing, yeah, where I work with a lot of different companies, yeah, and so I work with games manufacturers, I work with scenic manufacturers, I work with tool manufacturers, materials, and all sorts of tangents, paint companies and all this sort of stuff. And so I sat back and I was giving it some thought, and it's like, so what I thought was, you know, well, I have you lot are quite a varied group, if I'm honest. I mean, my core lot are wargamers of some sort, you know. I mean, after my scales video, I think I lost a considerable amount of like the historical players, and they ran away, yeah, because they were upset because I didn't include their scale. It happens. You can't please everyone. But, you know, a lot of my core group are wargamers. But off the side of that, you know, you've got the diorama guys, you've got the D&D folk, you've got the railway guys, yeah. And so I sat back and I thought, you know what? Yeah. Yeah. So I sat back and I thought about it, and what do you call it? I thought, since I've got a wide variety of companies, what I'll do is I'll put all the content in what you call it. I'll put not all the content. I'll make sure all the prizes are sort of gift vouchers as much as possible, because that way whoever wins it can choose what prize they want. Yeah, and because it's literally from everything you'd need, essentially, one lucky person is going to get a hell of a hobby wargaming setup. Yeah, and I was thinking, yeah, you know, I'm not sure there's maybe some 40kers. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah, maybe there's some 40kers and what you call it, and they're what you call it, you know, they're going to get a hell of a bundle and get thrown right into into a mix, and you know they'll be able to like pick up an entire new system. Then I was talking with Kez last night about it, yeah, and she turned round and what you call it, she said, well, what about like your diorama ladies? Now I've got a very small group, yeah, and I think Kat sort of fits in this one, yeah, of sort of crafting ladies. You know, I'm not going to say the elderly, no, you know, but a little bit older than me, shall we say? Yeah. Can you imagine them getting the ultimate wargamer setup? I mean, the full thing: army, scenery, gaming board, the lot. You know, how do you drop that one on your grandkids? Hey, grandkids, here you go. So anyway, that's one of the things I've been really busy with this week. So yeah, up to about over 1,000. Jamie's saying it's 96.651 subs. That's a lot. That'll do me. Wouldn't Cheshire Mel have a different accent? I don't know. Cheshire Mel's gone into hiding. I see. What's your message deleted by Jace Green? Hello, Jace. Cat's got a bit of lag. Don't worry, Cat. We'll pick up the slack. So yes, this is a Q&A show. So remember, down below, we've already got 3 questions. So we'll get stuck into those in a minute. Looking bright and chirpy as usual. I've had a good weekend, mate, to be truthful. Busy one. Yeah. We have a thing. Hello.
Hello.
Passing through? Or crashing?
Can I borrow this tape?
What do you need the tape for? No.
No, I mean he's taping a blanket on top.
No. Tell him no.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
No. Enough. Just tell him no. Thank you. No. Corbin had an idea. He wants to make a canopy off his roof. So they want to tape a blanket to the ceiling. No, not a chance. I mean, they're not tall enough to reach the ceiling. So right now I'm like, how the hell are they going to reach the ceiling? No. Someone wants to tape Corbin to his bed. Yeah, not far off, mate. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to. It's with me only working on things that, you know, are just progressive and that sort of stuff. I've got nothing really, no hot topics to discuss for once. You know, it's all calmed down with Cheshire Mel. So, 15 minutes in. Any more questions for any more?
Oh, yeah.
No one's older than you, buddy. Thanks, Gazby, and thank you, buddy. And yes, if you would like to support the show, if you'd like to make me smile, remember, we have to get to 3 figures before you can make me dance. Okay? Yeah, but if you would like to support the show, the links are down below. There's a link via Streamlab where you can get the announcement on screen. There's a link below where you can send it straight via PayPal. There's the link to Patreon, which is the monthly support. And then there's a link to the Amazon wishlist, which I really wish, yeah, I hadn't saved a load of palm tree links on. But thank you, Jay. More palm trees. So, what have I... Ooh, bit Star Wars sort of stuff. Obviously, I put that video up with the deep cut mats this week, yeah, and they mentioned about the Star Wars Legion terrain. Now, I haven't got anywhere with Fancy Flight, but I've been giving it some thought, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do generic sort of space terrain. Yeah, I think that's the easiest thing. I did want to include, like, gaming on it and that sort of stuff, but I'm just going to avoid that. Yeah. $5.99 is not the 3 figure. I know it's 3 figures, yeah, but after the decimal point, mate. After the decimal point. So anyway, so I've decided I'm just going to do some generic terrain, yeah, and I want to do, yeah, a lava planet, a heavy industrial lava planet. I'll do it as a 2x2, yeah, much like I've been doing High Peak Pass. So I think that's on the cards. Yeah, I'm talking to someone with regards to bits and that sort of stuff. And if they come through, then I'll have all the bits I need to sort of do it. So, I reckon probably end of October we'll start that one. Hey, pardon? Now, I've decided, yeah, I'm going to call it Scar. Can anyone get the reference? Don't think so. Oh, questions are coming in. Right. I think we should get stuck into some questions because we're just mulling here, aren't we? Yeah? So let's get done into it. I have 7 questions. So, Granny, Anton, Jamie, Max, Mark, Cat. Here we go. Let's get stuck in. Right. Okay, Grawley. Okay. Luke showed how to make paper clay. I can't remember the branded product name he was trying to duplicate, but I think it was from one of the Scenics. Using cellulose fibre instead of mashed up loo rolls. Question, has anyone purchased cellulose fibres and where from, as I can't seem to find them on the internet apart from small bags at extortionate prices from pottery shops. I've no idea where you get cellulose fibres from, to be truthful. I have seen them about, I've never used them. I mean, when I make paper clay, quite often I throw in a mix. I'll throw in paper and I'll throw in things like wood shavings and all sorts of bits, just to sort of give it a bit more of a texture. I mean, paper clay makes a great sort of, what you call it, using cellulose fibres. I haven't seen the video, but I can imagine. Yeah, but using paper and that sort of stuff, it makes a very soft texture. So I like throwing wood shavings. MDF works really well, MDF dust. Cork granules from where you're cutting up your cork bark. Yeah, and throw it in with it. Also, I tend to make paper clay, yeah. It's not actually paper clay because I use what you call it, Cristacal, which is a slip casting pack, a glass slip casting powder. Yeah, that's it. And I use all those. Yeah, and the Cristacal, it cures a lot harder than normal plaster of Paris and that sort of stuff. So it's a lot more durable. Yeah, it's also a little bit more lightweight. Hey, babe.
Hey, Bob.
He's live. Just so you know.
We got rained off.
You got rained off, did you? Did it get really wet?
The mist just came right down.
Any bats?
No, it's too early.
Hey. Right. Next question then. So yeah, I'll pass that one over to the community. I mean, where do you get cellulose fibres from? Someone's saying check out Luke's video on it. Yeah, so check that out if you're looking for it. But remember, there are loads of other things that you can throw in. I mean, essentially, it's just a firmer form of terrain glue. Right. Genroa. Do you plan on taking a look at the new modular terrain kits from GW? The Kill Team new scenery. To be perfectly honest, yeah, they do look good. And the new Oz.
He's just following me.
Yeah. And the new modular terrain, yeah, from GW, the Kill Team stuff, it's very smart with how it angles and connects together. You know what I mean? Very smart from what I've seen. Oz, go lie down. Yeah. And so I'd like to. The issue is that it's GW. Yeah, I'm not saying the issue is GW. The issue is I don't have any connection with GW, which means for me to look at the kits and look at them, you know, in any decent depth, which I like to do, yeah, I'd have to spend a fortune on the kits. And the choice, you know, when a lot of the times when I review kits and stuff like that, the manufacturers send them to me because they know they're getting the exposure, so I don't have to spend money buying kits, and so I can spend that money on camera kit and stuff like that. And so when it comes to the GW stuff, yeah, it gets a little bit difficult because I'm just I sent.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Odin. Dues paid. Yeah. But the issue I have is that, like I say, it's to do a decent review in any sort of depth, I'd have to drop £100-200 on terrain. Yeah, and GW is actually bringing out quite a lot of terrain, so it'd have to be a commitment. Now, if I was an active 40k player, you know, I could see me doing that as part of my hobby, but I'm not. Yeah, and so I'd only be buying it purely to just have a look at it and review. The other side of it is that because I don't have a relationship with GW, yeah, I'd only be able to get my hands on it on release day, yeah, and then I'd have to get it, have a play with it to figure it out, because I'm not just going to open it up and say, here you are, unboxing, you know what I mean? You see that on Warhammer TV. Yeah, I'd have to have a play with it and figure what you can do with it, you know what I mean? The best sort of ways of doing it. By the time I'd done that, then filmed all the content and got the content out, no one would be interested, you know? Especially when you look at pre-release and, you know, there's certain channels that GW has formal connections with which get pre-release stuff. I mean, the Beasts of War guys and stuff like that, you know, they can unbox on release. Yeah, I haven't got that. So it's a bit difficult for me to cover the GW terrain stuff. And it's not because I don't want to, it's just it would cost a lot, and by the time I'd actually covered it, no one would be interested in the footage. So, Genra, I'd love to, mate, but nah, I don't think I can do that right now. Hopefully, maybe in the future. You know what I mean? When I've got the camera kit I need and we're set up in the studio and that sort of stuff, and I've got disposable cash, because I mean, life for me is very much still month to month. You know, so dropping a large amount on GW plastics would be I'd have to wait till I'm a little bit more buoyant before I did that, mate. Right, Anton. Any ideas for terrain for Night Goblins and Beastmen for AOS? Did you see Corbin's door?
Yeah.
Right. Terrain for Night Goblins and Beastmen. Right, let's split these off, yeah, because I'm an old K40 player. You know, fancy, I remember when Night Goblins came in. Night Goblins, cave dwellers. So you're going to be looking at caves. Assuming you want to set up like they're playing in a cave-like environment, you could do stalagmites. Mites grow up, tights hang down off the washing line. Stalactites hang down. Mites grow up. Yeah, no, mites crawl up. Yeah. You remember it one way or another. Yeah. Right. So for Night Goblins, we'd go for mushrooms, we'd go for stalagmites, fungus. You could do weird glowy things. Yeah, because obviously they're caves, so you get the bioluminescence. I'm not sure what other features would you get. Because you could do cave entrances. If you're doing a greenfield table, you could do a cave entrance or multiple cave entrances. You know, that would be, they'd work as table edges that you could deploy from, you know, defending the home. Or you could go for grayscale, and you could sort of, what you could do is you sort of create apple cores. You know what I mean? Yeah, so imagine an apple core, and then imagine that as foam. Now, if you did that in a few places and then created a few edges, you could create that idea that you're playing within a cave, and then immediately, you know, your stalagmites would fit in there. Generally, through cave structures, a lot of caves come from water erosion, so you're going to be looking at water in there. There's lots of opportunities for puddles, because I mean, you'll get caves are cooler, so warm air will go in, it'll cool, it'll turn to moisture, it'll dip down, so you'll have lots of puddles, so you could get away with lots of puddles, occasional ponds, stream flows. Checking the comments. People are saying mushrooms, mushrooms, mushrooms. Alright, no more comments. Oh, Dimitri's joined on Patreon. Thank you, buddy. Would have been lost without your vids, Mel. That's what I'm here for, mate. Right, so yeah. So for Night Goblins, yeah, I think that's enough for you to get started with, mate. I mean, you've got to decide whether you want Greenfield, in which case all you're really looking at is, I suppose you could get away with, cave entrances. You could get away with, large mushrooms. You know, like a mushroom forest sort of thing. Minecraft. Yeah, if you were playing inside grayscale, then there's the opportunity of like, you know, the internal puddles, the streams, the fungus, the bioluminescence, the apple core, and, you know, the cave sides, the stalagmites. And I think definitely there's enough for Night Goblins there. Now, if we go over to the Beastmen, yeah, now Beastmen are nomadic. Okay, so their terrain would be, think Mongolian. Okay, I think Genghis Khan, that sort of stuff. So a lot of tents and stuff that they could, or who are they in Game of Thrones? Khal Dragu, you know, the horse riders, the nomads, and they sort of drag all their houses behind them and that sort of stuff. Beastmen would fall well under that. Obviously, Beastmen, a slight tint to the chaos. So GW did a really good sort of monolith, you know, Beastmen monolith once. Back when they came out, that was a nice model. That would work. I imagine if Beastmen do sacrifices, then I imagine they'd make cages and that sort of stuff, or a fighting pit perhaps. Huts, tents, yurts, yeah. Gork and Mork idols and altars. I thought Gork and Mork were an orc, not Beastmen. Beastmen worshipped Chaos Undivided, didn't they? Big bonfires and tribal heads on stakes. Yeah, that would work. That would fit. It will be. Herdstone. Is that the Herdstone? That was the monolith, wasn't it? So yeah, I reckon, I reckon that's enough to get you started on Beastmen and that sort of stuff. Right. Next question. Remember, guys, if you do have a question for me, the chances are I'm not going to see it in the comments because the old cogs are turning. So, if you've got a question for me, down below in the description, you'll find the link to the Google Doc, along with the link to the links to support the channel, etc. Right, Jamie. How do you bend plastic card and keep it bent? Plastic card, it depends on how thin it is. A really thin plastic card you can bend with hot water, yeah. Or the trick, all you got to remember is with anything plastic, when it's warm you can bend it, but you've got to cool it on the bend, which normally means blowing it with cold air through a hairdryer that's set on cold, or whether it's pouring cold water over it. Yeah, but basically, you know, you heat your plastic up. Yeah, if it's thin plastic, you can normally get away with boiling water, and that will heat it enough to to change. Or, you know, you can use a heat gun or something like that. I don't recommend on plastic sheets or anything like that using... Yeah, I've had food, darling. Thank you. I don't recommend using a naked flame or anything like that. You can use a naked flame on things like, you know, things like those palm tree trunks, because they're relatively thick. But thin sheets, when you speak of sheets, a flame will cause too much of a hot spot and it'll go straight through it, mate. Yeah, but basically either boiling water, yeah, put it on the bend, yeah. And this doesn't have to be your terrain. You can make a form. A form is a shape, yeah, that something fits to. Yeah, so if you know that you want to make, you want to bend this plastic into an arch, you make the arch separate for it to sit on. You lay it on, stretch it over hot water, get it to bend, cold water to get it, maintain that point, and then once you've got the bend, you can take it over to your actual terrain. So you're not actually pouring hot water on your terrain. Don't do that. That's not good. Trust me. Don't do that. Yeah. Oh. Did it? Now, so yeah, that's basically how you bend it. But heat guns work. Hot water works if the material's thin enough. If you're using rods, styrene rods, stuff like that, a naked flame, you can do it. Yeah, but don't use a naked flame on what you call it. On what? On sheets. Sorry. Mel's getting old.
Oi. Show your face.
What? What have I done?
I'm older than you.
So what? I'm not allowed to say I'm getting old because that implies...
Bored.
I'm bored. That makes me young and beautiful. She didn't give me a cheeky answer to that one. Oh, palm trees.
Shout this switch down for me quickly, look.
Yeah, sure, darling. 1 second, guys. Willow? Mum would like you. Oh. Now having a mug of tea and a cookie. That didn't work out, did it?
Yes, Mama. Can you just chop up that apple, chop up some ham?
Oh, Anthony, I'm not even reading that one because she'll let me. Max's model. Would you consider cornfields with scarecrows as part of a couple of Halloween videos you might want to consider? When's Halloween?
In October.
When in October?
Is it the 31st?
Yeah, it's my mum's birthday, isn't it?
31st. Yeah, that's right. I'm making a witch cake.
Yeah. Yeah, my mum was born on the 31st of March. And Kerry makes her a witch cake every year. If they're old, what does that make me? Jace, you are still... Yeah, Cat's chipped in with like... And well, we better stop this conversation before Cat kills us. 31st of October. Right. What's schedule looking like? Have a look. I've got to do that. I could bounce that week. Okay. I'll put it out and I'll give you guys the decision right now. Because, I mean, every year I get asked for Halloween terrain. Yeah, but I always remember it too late. Now, I've got a week put aside. And the week is essentially down to sorting out the next set of terrain labs on resin colours and all that sort of stuff. Basically really nailing it down. The reason I've got a week is because there's a lot of research and learning to go with it. I mean, this is my current reading at the moment. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. But, yeah... let me explain the issue I'm facing and why this terrain lab is taking a week, or I've allocated a week to do it. Yeah, I've got to work out how to make realistic colours. Yeah, using resin. Now, when you add colours to resin, it becomes a colour filter. And what I have to work out is, to get the final colour you see, yeah, I've got to figure out the sunlight coming through tinted resin, bouncing off a colour, then coming back up through tinted resin, and the end result's got to be the colour I want. And I've got to figure out the process to get to it. And still make it look cool. Which is why I put it off to October, because to be truthful, it's a hell of a jobby. So I'll give it over to you guys. Yeah, we'll have a quick straw poll. For you rats, yeah? Alright. Love you.
I'm going back down in a second.
Doesn't mean I don't love you.
Love you too.
Yeah? So, yeah, I'll throw this out there. You guys, I can either roll that terrain lab into November, yeah? So you can either have the Resin Ocean terrain lab in October, or you can have, I reckon I can fit 2 Let's Make Halloween specials into a week. I should be able to do that. Yeah, I should be able to. Yeah, or, yeah, because I'll have to do extra graphics on it. Yeah. We'll do 2 Halloween ones. So, I'll give it to you. Do you want the resin, the next sort of resin terrain lab, or do you want a couple of Halloween special Let's Makes? I'm just going to sit back and let's see what comes. People are still talking about their ages. James Gurney's Light and Colour. Thanks, Stargate. Okay, we've got 1 for Halloween. 2 for Halloween. 3. 4. 1 for resin. Satan specials, I'll take that. Halloween. 5. Halloween. 6. Halloween 7. 8. Since I do a quarter of my yearly business in Halloween stuff, you know what? Nah, okay.
So you were doing Halloween?
I've got 2 for resin. I think it's looking that way. Halloween. Let's make cocktail. Melloween. You know, Jace. Okay, right. I think it's Halloween. Next question. Do I dress up for it?
You're not having none of my stuff. You can keep out of my knickers.
Really? Well, I'm live on YouTube and you throw that one there.
Well, you know the palaver it caused last time.
Rocky Horror. Rocky Horror. Calm down, you lot. Someone's seconding James Gurney's recommendation. So I'm going to go very quickly off. Respot the name. Light and Colour by James Gurney's Light and Colour. I'm just going to very quickly throw that into a browser window. So I've got that for later. Ah. I'll find it on Amazon, throw it on my wish list.
Yeah, Corbin, you can have another 15, 20 minutes. Oh, it's 20, nearly 20 to 10 now. I've got school in the morning.
Hey, Papa Cat.
What's that?
I'm calling the dog Papa Cat.
Add to the list. Yeah, right, that's on my list. Right, so it looks like gotta be a go for folks. Hey, what? No, Melanie. Dress as a giant terrain piece. Rocky Horror Mel.
Rocky Horror, I like that.
Rocky Horror Pitch Show. The only one in the series which didn't star Stallone. You dress as a gopher. Gopher dance as a gopher. Gopher. Drag Mel. No.
Drag Mel. I could imagine that.
Is Rocky Horror drag?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it? Or is it fancy dress because it's Rocky Horror? Because drag is dressing up outlandishly in female clothes, isn't it?
Which is what that is.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could literally just go as Frankenfurter, couldn't you? Which is fancy dress. That's not drag.
Well, I suppose it's either.
Ooh.
Remember the palaver last time?
Calm.
And there was a picture of you in a frock?
Calm down, will you? Are you specifically trying to like...
Hey, I've got the box out the attic.
Don't you dare.
I have all the old photos.
I have photos of you too.
It's alright, that's fine. I was quite skinny when I was...
I'm not
really
talking about those photos.
But you wouldn't put them on YouTube.
The stakes have been risen.
I know.
Right,
I'll just accidentally
let's just leave that. Let's just leave that there. Right. Should we get back to other questions? So yes, I think once I've finished sweating there, yeah, yes, I think what you call it, we'll look at. It's the way we roll. Right, I think Max has what you call it, derailed the show enough. So, you want some Halloween stuff, do you? Alright, right. Let me throw that into my work doc. Right, I'm going to have to throw that onto there. Spec. Halloween. Let's makes. I'll aim to do 2 or 3. I'll see if I can do 3. Yeah, but I'll aim it at 2. You know the way to get me dancing. Links are down below. Guys, I'm live on YouTube.
We're saying 8 take away 5 is 2.
It is right.
Right, bed now. You pull maths like that in this house, you'll go in bed, young lady.
What?
8 minus 5 is what? Correct answer right now, or bed.
Do bed anyway.
She can say 2 though. Like if she has to go there, so she say 2, wouldn't you?
Yes.
What is the number?
2.
Bedtime.
Right, bed now.
Come here. No, lad.
Alright,
Love you.
love you. But not have a
Do you
worry.
want a cookie cup?
Hello, buddy.
Do you want a cookie? Yeah, I'm straight back.
What? 2?
No, for Mel as Janet, Kez as Brad. Can you imagine Kez dressed as Brad? Damn it, Janet!
No, I'll be magenta.
When back in the studio, what's the next week's schedule? I'm not sure yet. Yeah, do need to catch up with my Jace. Yeah, I am back in the studio. Yeah, I'm, back at work now and all that sort of stuff. Kids have gone back and that sort of stuff. So, can you stop flossing?
No.
Come give me a love.
Ow.
Oh, God. Love you, darling. Right, good night. God bless you.
I need plaster on now.
Enough. So yeah, I am back in the studio now. The live things, I'm probably going to stream live from home one evening a week. Yeah, I need to sort this with Kez and that sort of stuff. Love you, lad.
Love you. Love everybody else. You're cool.
Enough.
Love you to an extent, Willow.
Love ya.
Love you, Mum.
I'm trying to do my show, darling.
Well then, ignore me.
Willow.
Okay. Night night.
Love ya.
Love ya.
Right. So yeah, next week's schedule. You've got a possibility of 3 videos coming out on Tuesday. It depends where I finished on Monday. I've got visited the Tank Museum, and I've got a Tank Museum video. That's already up to go up if I don't get the projects I'm working on done. Yeah, but I've got sort of a sandstone video in the making, because a load of people said, why didn't you paint that layered hill sandstone? So I sat back and thought, well, okay, I can do that. Yeah, so we've got that video coming. Yeah, so schedule next week, video Tuesday, either a live show on Thursday or a video on Thursday. Yeah, and Saturday I should be at Warlord. Yeah, because it's the Warlord Open Day. Right. Alan's asking, would you think a pasting table would make a good portable wargaming table if you reversed the hinges and gave it a bit more of support underneath and came up with a better idea for the legs? To be truthful, I've looked at pasting tables in the past, and one of the problems is they're designed for the width of a sheet of of wallpaper. So you probably need 2 pasting tables. You've got to change the hinges over. You've got to reinforce the legs. Yeah, you've got to make the centre a lot sturdier, because let's be honest, when we're wargaming, we all do that thing where we put our hand on the table to lean over and reach something. Yeah. And so, to be truthful, I don't think they're good. I mean, fine if you can rely on on your player base and the people who are playing on them to go careful with them. Yeah, then yeah. But if you can't, I'd give them a miss, mate. Just when did you lose control? Or at least perception that you had control. I've lost control years ago. Right, next question. This is 9 of 13. Can you do junk terrain for kill team terrain? Red Green's asking. I've been meaning to junk terrain for a while. But I need to get the medieval series out of the way. It's on the list, mate. Yeah? You got to understand, a load of people, whenever... This is another GW thing. Yeah? And it's more GW than any other company. But whenever GW brings out a new game, I get a massive influx of questions saying, can you do terrain for this game? You know, and because obviously I don't work with GW, I don't know what they're bringing out. Yeah, and so I can't sort of work it into my schedule. So by the time I get round to doing the terrain for it, it's often quite long past the release, which is why I don't, yeah. 1 second, please.
Throw Corbin in bed as well.
Really? Bedtime now, guys. Come on. I'm live and I can hear you. Good night, God bless. Oh. I don't know what they've had today, but... Yeah, so with things like whenever it's like a game comes up or something like that, yeah, I do have this problem that, you know, I don't have time to immediately shoehorn it in, because I've got projects that go on for quite a while, and I've got other commitments in the future, so I need to make sure that what I do now gets done, or that messes up what I've committed to for certain deadlines in the future. Yeah, and so it's really difficult to do terrain for that sort of stuff. But trash terrain is on the is on the list. Yeah, whether I get it, Mel's such a teddy bear. Yeah, whether I get the trash terrain done sort of in time, yeah, for a certain release is just coincidental, I think. Right. Question 10 of 14. Any chance of post-apocalyptic terrain for 1/64 scale? 64? 15 mil, is that? No. 64. I can never bloody remember. I'm great at 28 mil. Temp scales, TMP scales. Oh, never mind. Much like the kill team terrain, mate. It's not a scale I really work at, and post-apoc terrain isn't on the horizon anytime soon. But it will be covered. I am just one man. I mean, I've pretty much nailed all the greenfield stuff I want to do. There's still a few little bits. There's, you know, I want to get heavily into water. Then we'll look at sci-fi and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so it will be covered on the channel at some point. I just can't guarantee when it will be covered. Right, Stargate 404, hello bud. I made a 3D map of the Roman Empire following your Fable Realms map tutorial. Nice. Everything went wrong. It happens. Yeah, had to use a heat gun to harden the resin, and it took 4 coats of paint to get the paint to keep. And flocking was a nightmare. Did you have similar issues with your Fable Realms map? No. No, in all honesty, mate, no, I didn't. The resin cured first time. Were you using Easy Composite? Were you using glass cast? I mean, what sort of resin were you using then? You were using a heat gun to harden it. You mentioned you might make more 3D maps. Have you decided to do any in the future as a fun project or commission? There's a couple knocking around, and to be truthful, I would like to make another map. Yeah? Yes, I know, I've got to make you one.
I was going to say, I'm still waiting for one from last Christmas. And they all Westeros and Esteros.
So yeah, at some point I'll make a map. Yeah, there was, what you call it, I was thinking for a long time about doing a campaign map, a nodal campaign map covering the Burma, yeah, for my Chindits. Not sure whether I will or not, but I would like to do another map. Making the map was a fun project. It was a challenging project, and not just that, I think I could do so much better this time. Yeah, as Kez says, she cried when that went.
That should have been on my wall.
I think it's on the wall at Beasts of War now.
No, it's on my wall, is it?
No.
You should make me Westeros and Esteros before it comes out in April.
Problem is, it's copyrighted and I haven't got permission for channel content.
It's not for channel content, for me.
Yeah, but it's a large commission and I don't have the time to do it without generating content from it.
NMP, I want a Westeros and Esteros.
Well, it may not be your problem, but it is my problem. And it's not a problem I can fix.
And yeah, got good count.
Say again?
Do it in your spare time.
What spare time?
Or find some.
Find some. Well, that 15 minutes before picking the kids up from school while I'm sitting in the car outside school.
Well, you better start now then,
Yeah, I'll tell you what then. I'll build you Westeros and Esteros in my spare time. but expect to see a workshop in the toilet. Spare time. Kez, can you pull that door to, babe?
I was just going to say, I'm going to shut the door.
Alright. Yeah, so yeah, I will do a map again in the future. That map would have made an awesome coffee tabletop. Yeah. Right. What other questions we got? Remember, if you've got questions for me, guys, get them down in the in the description. There's a link down in the description, along with the links to donate and support the channel. Remember, we are still collecting and trying to fund our live studio setup. Jace, we need to order a PC soon, mate. We could do with getting together, mate. No pressure. I know you got a lot on, but we need to get that moving. So yeah, if you'd like to support that, yeah, links down below. We've pretty much got the computer sorted, yeah. Well, the funding for it, but we're gonna need cameras. I need microphones, leads, and HD cams. So if you'd like to support that, links down below. Right. So yeah, definitely a board coming in the future, guys. Yeah, maybe Westeros, maybe Asteros, maybe Nonaros. Right, question 12 of 14. Bob, did you try the heat shrink wraps on the tree frames yet? No, mate. Yeah, Bob, I'm guessing Bob's one of the guys who's been chatting to me, I think Facebook. Yeah, and he found that he could make barking texture by using heat shrink wraps around, around the wire armature. Yeah. Now, he suggested I give it a go. I haven't got any. Yeah, and I haven't got any wire armatures, and I'm not scheduled to look at that for a while. So I'll put it on the have a playlist. But Bob, it may be next year before I actually get around to having a play with it. My lists are pretty long. As you can see tonight, you know, they just keep getting added to. You know, point in fact, you know, as per user request, the resin terrain lab that I'd be doing in October has now been bounced, so I can do Let's Makes. Yeah, so that will get bounced into November. Right. Question 13 of 14. Right. Thomas. Hey Mel. Do you know that Star Wars Fan Awards 2018 is not available for Europe? No dioramas from us. No My Naboo themed palace in contest. I didn't even know there were Star Wars Fan Awards. Is that something that Fantasy Flight are doing, or is that something that Disney are doing? I mean, with them saying it's not available in Europe, whoever's doing it, will it be rolled out to Europe? Is it something that's new, or is it something that's gone on for a while? Anthony says, no spare time. He says, sitting with his feet up and his arms crossed. I am answering questions. So yeah, I don't know what to say on that one, mate. I'm a bit gutted. I didn't know they existed. But I'm guessing, you know, as they get bigger, they will roll over to Europe. Post your pics of your Naboo-themed, palace in the Terrainiacs group. That's the Facebook group for the channel, guys. Down below, links down below. When is your Tank Museum video coming out? Should be out this week, hopefully. Yeah, if it isn't this week, definitely next week. Right, question 15 to 16. I'm almost caught up. Every time I get close to the end, one of you guys submits Star Wars. Oh, right, okay, Star Wars. Let's have a look. Star Wars. So it's from Disney. Short videos, visual art, photos. I like that. That's interesting enough. So it is a Disney thing, and it's creating artwork and submitting it. I didn't even know it existed. We need to see you working on the fort. I have a feeling I'll have the fort finished. Right, back to questions. Frank's asking, any thoughts on doing a desert island board? Something with a beach, rock, water, coconut palms. I do want to do beach terrain, but I don't want to do beach terrain until I've done I've done the resin sort of stuff, and I'm up to speed with my resin. I want to do a beachfront. Yeah, obviously I've got my Burma terrain. Now I'm thinking of having transitional boards to take them to a beachfront, so I can do things like the Iwo Jima landings. Yeah, and so with that in mind, it is coming, but not until we've nailed the resin. And the resin was a project for pretty much this year into next year. So probably summer of next year I'll be doing that. This is how far I plan ahead. I've actually got plans ahead for my video, sort of what I'd like to do roughly goes ahead to 2020. Right, we're coming up on 10 o'clock and I've got 2 more questions. And he doesn't want to do beaches until palm trees become extinct. I'm getting quite good at palm trees. Oh, Anthony, bloody hell, mate. Talk about throwing a question in there. We're going to get a bit political, are we? Alright. And actually, I don't normally do politics on this channel, but this is relevant to this channel. Okay. We normally stay apolitical because as modelers, yeah, we cross so many demographics, it's unbelievable. All sorts, you know, all around the world, all sorts of beliefs, all that sort of stuff. And I actually think that because modelling brings us together like it does in the comments, I think it's quite important to protect that. Because, I mean, I don't like the way... Oh, Stargate, thank you, dude. Ah. I will, dude, I will, thank you. Oh, thank you, baby. Yeah. So, it's alright, there's quite a lot going on. So, very quickly, I don't do political stuff because the world's very divisive and polar at the minute. Yeah, so anything that sort of brings us together just as human beings and just decent people, I kind of like. And so that's what happens on the channel, which is why we're sticking with it. Yeah, but this is slightly relevant because it's Article 13. Yeah, and Article 13 is part of the new copyright directive coming through the EU, which will affect me. Now, Article 13, I'm against. Now, copyright-wise, yeah, it won't actually affect me. The reason being is, you guys know I'm really sort of, to use the use of a better word, rather rectally retarded when it comes to copyright. You know what I mean? I don't use any material that I either don't own or I haven't got explicit permission to use. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why, you know, I don't mess in people's game systems unless I have a connection with the company. And the reason why I did that was actually quite important, because I knew something like Article 13 was round the corner. Now, YouTube generally works on US fair use, which is, you know, there's a broad set of categories that if you're using something for this, you can use it. Yeah, the EU doesn't have fair use. Now, we had fair dealings, which was a little bit similar to fair use. It wasn't as open. Yeah, but if you were using it for news or education, instruction, that sort of stuff, then there were exemptions there. Yeah, now the new EU directive has no exemptions on that count. So it's going to screw a lot of stuff, and it's going to be backdatable. So there's going to be whole loads of channels. So for example, yeah, any channel that's used an image from GW, yeah, in the EU that has a video out will have to remove it. YouTube will have to remove it by law, unless that channel owner can get express permission to GW, and they'll have to pass it to GW. Okay, now here's the worrying thing about Article 13, because basically you can't post anything you don't own rights to. Yeah, there's no sort of, well, it's for this, it's for this. Now here's the thing that I really don't like about Article 13. The EU have developed this content filter to be able to find out if something's copyrighted. If you want your website to be viewable and usable in the EU, okay, you're going to have to integrate this EU filter into your website. Yeah, so it's not your website that decides whether it's copyright, it's the EU. And there's major concerns. One of the major concerns is there's been no clarification of what right to appeal there is against the filter. Yeah, so for example, if I upload a video to YouTube and the filter, what do they call it? A false positive. The filter sees something in my video, it thinks it's something else, and it says it's copyright. There's been no clarification of how I get around that. I won't be able to upload that video to YouTube. And that's just on false positives. Yeah. Now, they're putting the onus on the platforms to make sure they're compliant, to make sure they're backdatable, or they get fined. Which means YouTube is just going to douche all sorts of content, along with loads of others. Now, here's the other thing about Article 13. Yeah? If I was an America producer living in America, yeah, and I produce something under fair use, fine. But under EU regulations, that content can't be viewable in the EU. It's illegal. So a lot of the US content that's currently produced on YouTube, using music, using images, using fair use, won't even be viewable. I'm guessing there's going to be a case where I'm no longer going to be able to view Philip DeFranco. I like Philip DeFranco. Yeah. It's interesting. He's good for the YouTube stuff and what's going on in the social medias, that sort of stuff. You know, changes and that sort of stuff. Most of the celebrity stuff he goes on about, I've got no idea who this Jake Paul bloke. I mean, who the hell's that? You know, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah? Would you even to be able to wear that t-shirt? Do you know what, Crawley? I don't know, which is why, if you notice, in a lot of my latest videos, I've stopped wearing t-shirts and I've started wearing Terrain Tutor branded clothing. Yeah? And a lot of that is down to people, because I mean, but someone drew a line, pointed out once that by wearing a Star Wars logo, yeah, that's copyrighted material. You know what I mean? And I was thinking, is that an issue? You know, so I've started wearing jumpers without the logo. But basically, what you've got to remember is the people who have put this together are working mainly on behalf of, you know, the established media outlets and the established media companies, yeah, to protect their copyright. And they're not particularly internet savvy people. And if it screws up the internet for everyone, well, they're not going to lose their jobs. Yeah, and so I'm really concerned about Article 13, not just from what it will do for me, but what content I'll be able... I mean, will they turn around and they say, well, okay, we can't guarantee that, any of the fair use material that's produced in the US is Article 13 compliant. So let's just block YouTube.com. Every American producer, yeah, in the EU. And that could happen because, essentially, all the onus has been put on YouTube and put on the social media platforms, and the fines are pretty substantial from what I've heard. Yeah, and so you know, I don't normally talk about these things, but if any of you guys are in the EU, you know, I'm not going to tell you to immediately contact your MEP and go tell them vote against it. What I'm going to say is go find out about it, yeah, and then make your own mind up. Yeah, but go find out about it, because this is not one of those things that you want to find as passed in January and find out when you go to Facebook and, you know, a system designed by the EU. I mean, when has a government or any government ever designed an internet system that works well? Any government. You know, damn, trying to use any of the British government ones. I've never used any EU ones. I've heard America has similar problems, you know what I mean? And so I'm really concerned about it. So please, yeah, I'm not going to tell you, yeah, because I don't believe in telling people what you should do with your vote or what you should do with your political opinion. Yeah, but this is not something you want to find out about after it's passed. Yeah? I mean, fine, you might be fine with it, you might agree with it, fine. Yeah? But find out about it and make sure you're fine with it before you just sit back and let it pass. You know what I mean? It's through the EU Parliament already, Mel. Yeah, I know the amendments have got, essentially got rubber stamped, but it doesn't go for final resolution until January, where it's finally approved. Now, it is seen that that is very much just a rubber stamping exercise, and it's expected to pass. So we need people to contact their MEPs. So like I say, go find out about it, folks. Genuinely just go find out about it, and then make your own mind up from there, okay? Chosen Man, I'll be Will and can talk you through copyright and trademark with regards to proprietary use, endorsement and ownership. Chosen Man, I appreciate, and look, I've actually spent a long time looking into this about how I stand. The issue is, I don't know how they're going to change things in the future. Yeah, and I don't know what they're going to make retrospective and what content. So, I have to side on ultra cautious. Because it's too important to lose. You know what I mean? It's just too important. But I do appreciate that. And I'll look forward to seeing you at Warlord, mate. The fines are not just pretty substantial. They are insane. And the time limit of an hour for removal is equally ridiculous. An hour from reporting. They are, you see, when you have a time limit of an hour for reporting or get fined, and you've got more reports than you can process in an hour, the logical thing for a platform to do is take down it as soon as it receives a report until it approves it. Yeah, this is not going to go well, guys. Because, I mean, I can see people reporting content just to have the video taken down. Yeah. Britain has started, Max, with regards to what you call it, Britain leaving the EU. There was a referendum, we voted, our Prime Minister instigated Article 50, which is basically a 2-year countdown to leaving. So right now we are currently still in the EU and EU applies. Yeah. On the basis that we leave the EU, Article 13 won't apply to Britain, but I think it'll have damaged that much by then that it won't really matter. Yeah. I'm worried, to be truthful. Yeah, Groy's saying it's first step in controlling freedom of information. I don't like the idea that it's a filter controlled by government. Yeah, that has to be applied broadly to everything you upload. Yeah, because the other question I sort of have, and this is a bit conspiracy theory. Yeah, but if it's filtering and it's watching, what else is it posting? What is it watching you post? You know, we have data protection laws. Yeah, to protect what we post, and we have net neutrality in the well, we used to. Do we still have net neutrality in the UK anymore? I think we do, because when the EU tried to change that, we went nuts. I know you've lost net neutrality in the US, but the question is, what else is it checking? I mean, I'll be honest with you, doesn't really affect me, yeah, because I don't really upload to secret. When I have a bitching about the government, I generally post it on Facebook with a public sort of setting on what you call it. You know, it goes out to everyone. I don't really hide it, but it is a question, isn't it? You know, you're putting a government-controlled filter on anything anyone does on the internet. I mean, technically, an upload to the internet, well, you could say a text on social media, and a messenger is an upload, because the information is being uploaded to the internet. So does it apply to that? Yeah, Fred, any impact on the UK would hinge on the country's relationship with that entity. In a nutshell, it's too soon to tell and will rely largely on the outcomes of Brexit negotiations. Yeah. I'm sorry for bringing it now. Sorry for bringing you down. It's not that, mate. It's something that has been playing on my mind, and it is important. And I don't like. Normally, I don't like doing political stuff on this channel because, as I said, you know, we're a wide demographic as wargamers, as terrain makers especially. We tend to be good people, yeah, but we are a wide demographic. So I don't use this to push my political opinion. But I think with Article 13, I think it is important that if you are in the EU, you should find out about it and engage with the process one way or another. Jace is just saying, just for clarification, we leave the EU on March 29th. Estimates for implementation articles starting the best for end of April, probably much later. So, on the basis, that we leave the EU, and I'm not even sure that's certain yet. Yeah. It will still impact EU viewers watching UK content. Yeah, of course, because it will block the UK like it would block So it could mean all my European followers, what it means to you is, bye. That's the reality. Yeah. If we go through Brexit, then we would still have our fair dealings with it, which, I mean, it wouldn't affect me, but I can't rely on the filter. It's worrying stuff. Yeah, it's worrying stuff, guys. Anyway, I'm not an expert on these things. Well, you know, what I've read concerns me. What I'd suggest is, yeah, we'll draw a line on it now, because I feel like I'm just going round in circles, and this conversation will dissolve into something I don't want it dissolving. You know what I mean? And I've got 2 more questions to do and 14 minutes. Right. Yes. Right, let's talk about some terrain. What's the next question? John's asking, will you be doing Star Wars Armada X-Wing terrain? That depends on Article 13, mate. No. Right. Terrain isn't copyrighted. Systems are. Places are. That sort of stuff. So I can do the terrain without it being for Star Wars, but it could apply over. Yeah, if I can get it in with Fantasy Flight, then yes, definitely. If not, well, I'm going to be doing some asteroids and stuff like that anyway. Space stations, space debris, that sort of stuff anyway. So, yeah, you're probably going to see that. I can't say it'll be for X-Wing, to be perfectly honest. It'll be for gaming. Whatever system you play, space system you play, as far as I'm concerned right now. Yeah, but, yeah, it'll be coming. But, do you see the issues this sort of stuff causes? So yes, anyway, it's all I'm reading the comments because it's still going on. Yeah. Would you? Do you ever... I know... Listen, I'm going to reach out to everyone here, all of you, yeah? Just normal people to normal people. Because, I mean, us terrainiacs, I put us down as pretty normal sort of folk. You know, they tend to be run-of-the-mill, nice people. Do you ever think that behind the doors of whichever government is your government, they're just running around screaming and everything's on fire? Do you know what I mean? I watch the political process in Britain at times. And I'm like, how is the country still running? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, enough of politics. Enough. Jeb Zal's asking, how would one make some beach or underwater terrain? Underwater terrain's a bit difficult. There was a good post in the Terrainiacs about it. Yeah, but I think that's a bit... Unless you want to go and watch... What was it? It wasn't Captain Scarlet. What was the submarine one? The puppet show with the submarine. Stingray. Go watch Stingray on YouTube while it's still there before Article 13 hits. I take offence at being called normal. Matt's saying, Mel mate, I audit the UK government for a living. It's terrifying. We all wonder that, Mel. Stingray! Yeah, Stingray. So go watch some Stingray for your underwater terrain. It's all there. Having worked at Westminster, you are indeed correct. Troy Tempest. Marina. Okay, beach terrain. You got the slope, haven't you? I mean, you're gonna need resin for that. I would. Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna do a beach, what are you thinking? Like a beach frontage? Probably the best suggestion is go check out my D-Day project. It's in the projects playlist. About 7 episodes, but you can follow how I did the beach on that. Now that wasn't a resin pour. Yeah, for a resin pour you'd have to brace it and all that sort of stuff. But you could do it that way. Wave pattern see-through acrylic for roof of the table, underwater terrain. Yeah, plastic acrylic. Some supporting beams. That would work. Right, final question. And I've closed the questions, so no more. BBC Oceans. Thunderbirds were good. Right. Okay, terrain issue. The pictures I put on the terrain group. Okay, and what's the best way to attach buildings to the MDF? Okay, let's hit the terrainiacs group. Let's go have a nosy. Thank you, JC. It's been quiet, this one, but that's cool. That's cool. We're slowly chipping towards it, you know what I mean? Terrainiacs. Let's have a look. And attaching foam to the MDF. I was thinking no more nails. I'd use PVA, mate. Just to stick foam board to MDF, you just use PVA. It will easily be strong enough. PVA will key into both MDF and foam board really well. Yeah, so you'll have no problems with that. So that sort of wraps it up for this show. That's all my questions done. You guys know what's going on. I'm now committed to doing Halloween Let's Makes. My beach terrain is going to wait a little while longer. Best adhesive for XPS? PVA. I love PVA. Right, so that's my questions done. I'll tell you what, Kat, it scares me how often you two think alike. Yeah, Jerry Anderson was ahead of his time for puppetry and set design, just as Harry Hawson was for film special effects. Now it's all computer generated. You don't, yeah, and you're not wowed by it anymore, are you? You know what I mean? I think like Mal between his duck. Do you own PVA shares or something? No, but I should. They used to do glow-in-the-dark sculpting over a wire frame. Well, you can get glow-in-the-dark paint. Buy it from B&Q. So glowy isn't hard. I've got a skull in the studio about that big. Dum 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 dum. Righty-ho. I think we're all good. Right, guys, I'm going to call it. Yeah, because I've done all my questions. We've had a natter. We've had a good natter about Article 13. As I said, if you're in the EU, please just go check it out. Make your mind up. Yeah. Mel confirmed PVA shares tycoon. We need to get Mel to manufacture his own line of PVA. It wouldn't be manufacturing my own line. It'd just be buying PVA and putting it in a bottle with my name on it. No. Just go buy PVA, you know. So, I think we'll call it now, guys. Listen, thanks for joining me. Thanks to Kat and Jace, my moderators. Thanks to all you guys for your questions. Yeah, it has been good. £3,000 for a PC to run his software. You think your PC for the studio is expensive? Damn. And yes, if you've enjoyed the stream, remember there are links down below. You can donate to what turns out to be my incredibly cheap streaming PC. I'm glad I'm not doing what you call it. I'm glad I'm not doing, animation. Right, I'm gonna call it. I'll see you later, guys. All the best, yeah. Ta-da.